Hello and welcome to week 2 unit 2. I am Guru Prasad and I will be your instructor for this unit. In this unit web service overview, we will see what a web service is and how to create a custom web service for a custom business object. A web service is a software which allows multiple software or applications that are built on using different languages or different frameworks to have the ability to communicate with each other. The illustration here represents each web service will have a request and a response. The service consumer sends the request to the service provider and in return the service provider sends a response to the service consumer. The available types of web services are SOAP and REST based services. The below table here represents the difference between the types of web service. Simple Object Access Protocol, in short, SOAP based services are complex to handle, REST based services are easy to handle. SOAP is an XML based format, whereas REST can be XML, CSV, JSON based formats. SOAP uses protocols like HTTP or SMTP. On the other hand, REST uses like HTTP and HTTPS protocols. WSDL is used to define the web service in the SOAP based platform, and in the REST based platform URL is used to define the web service. The purpose of SOAP is mainly used for the APIs. On the other hand, REST based services are used for simple transactions and faster results. Custom web services can be created for both SAP delivered business objects and custom business objects. The web services created using the Cloud Studio provides remote access to business objects with operations like create, read, update, query and action. During the creation of custom web service, create or provide an already existing work center view as an authorization to execute the web service. The web services delivered as a standard by SAP Business by Design and the custom web services created in Cloud Studio are SOAP based services. Once the web service is created, WSDL file can be downloaded from the studio, which could be then consumed by a third party tool. Let us now get into the SAP Cloud Studio and see how to create a custom web service for a custom business object. So, here we are in the Cloud Studio. I would go ahead and create a custom web service for the job profile BO. I right click. I could do a new service integration from here, or I could also create via this option, add new button. I select service integration and I select web service and I provide a name here. Let us say I provide job profile, click on add. So, here it is, this is the web service name, manage job profile in, click on next. I have to provide the structure for the web service. So, I do that by selecting the fields which is of the interest in the web service. Select the job ID, the title, posting date, domain, employment type, hiring manager ID, and the hiring manager name we do not select because we have a logic where you enter the hiring manager ID and the manager name gets defaulted. So, hence we do not select that. I select the job location, the job end date, the status, and the other fields like the creation date, time and the changed by, created by are already as part of the logic. So, I would not select that as well. You could also select the child node, that is the candidates applied, and you could select the fields here, but for now I would not do that. I just go with the root information, click on next. Now, here is where you could provide what are the services you would like this web service to be part of. So, I select service operation create and I select all the fields in the structure for create and click on next. I do the same thing for read, and then I click on next. Do the same thing for update, and I click on next. I could expose the query. I'll give a query name here. Select the root query by elements, and I click on next. I don't want to specify any action for now. I just go ahead and click on next. Here is where you provide the authorization to execute the web service. So I would like to use the existing work center view. So I specify job profile work center view and click on add. So for each of these work centers, we have to specify the operations. I select create, update, read and query by elements, and I click on next. You could do a review of this. So this is the web service name you have provided, and this is the namespace of the BO and the job profile BO itself, and these are the operations as part of the web service here. Those are the create, read, update and query. And I click on finish. So now here you could see the .web service file created as part of the solution. So I would go ahead and save and activate this. It's taking a while to activate. Once the activation is done, then we could go ahead and download the WSDL file, which could then be consumed in a third party tool. So there you see the web service is activated successfully. Now I could do a right click on this and say download WSDL file, and then you could specify a place where you would like to store it in your system. Let's say I want to store this on my desktop, and I click on save. So now the WSDL file is exported. This WSDL file could then be provided to the third party software where they could use this web service and communicate with SAP Business by Design. Now we saw how to create a web service for a custom business object. Let me show you how to do that for a standard business object. Click on add new item, select web service, click on add, and here you could see you could provide the namespace. Let's say I want to create it for a sales order. I could select CRM global where the sales order is existing. That is the namespace for the business object, and I select sales order and I click on next. And the steps would remain the same as how you define the custom web service. You could define the same way for the standard web service as well. I would not do that for now. Now let me show you the standard web services available as part of SAP Business by Design offering. I would go into application and user management, and in the service explorer I could see all the web services available which is offered by SAP Business by Design. I could go ahead and download this WSDL file. Now let us say you have downloaded this WSDL file and you want to consume this, and you are not sure of the payload. So you could do one thing to get the payload. I would cancel this. I don't want to create the web service for now. You could get the payload or a sample payload by clicking on view, repository explorer. You could go to the inbound service interfaces. Let me give star sales. So there you go. You have this manage sales order in. I click on this. and here you see the sample payload and also the response for that. So, you could make use of this documentation which is available for each and every web service which is provided by SAP Business by Design to get a sample one, and you could use this as in the third party tool. Yeah. That is it for the demo. I will now go back to my slides. With this, we come to the end of week 2, unit 2 on web services, and below is a summary of the unit. We understood the basics of web service, we saw what are the various types of web service available, and we created a custom web service for a custom business object and downloaded the WSDL file. You can get a hands-on experience on how to create web service and download the WSDL file, which is available as an exercise for this unit. In the next unit, we will see how to invoke a web service in Cloud Studio through scripting. That's it for now, and see you in the next unit. Thank you.